Shai, you obviously you scored 15 on not great shooting, but the way these guys played the second quarter, it really didn't matter. What did you see in that quarter from your teammates and throughout the game to kind of offset your shooting?
Yeah, we played to our identity. Nothing more, nothing less than that. We were who we were all year in those minutes, and it's going to be the key to our success. Just staying true to who we are.
And Jalen, what did you see kind of open up in the second quarter to break open the game?
Defensively, we were very good. Usually when you can get stops, it opens up a lot of stuff.
And the lob you had, were you surprised? Did you caught that? Like, what?
Yeah, I've never
what
done that before.
Okay.
Just to keep that one short, so that was cool. Yeah.
What else we got? Riley, go ahead.
Jalen, how do you think that you've improved over this last year? I mean, you were really in control of the game today, especially offensively as a facilitator. Do you think that that's an area that you've grown in?
Yeah, I would just say get more comfortable with the guys that I'm playing with. And, even though it's the playoffs, like, when you plan on being with the team for, like, years at a time, like, you're still, like, trying to figure each other out and, like, constantly trying to improve. So I think that's a big one. So even now, it's like you're still learning and trying to find new ways to be effective with each other. So it's like a constant, like, state of evolution. So, yeah, tonight was good and something I can build off of going forward.
Jalen, can you talk about the energy in the building tonight? I know you obviously experienced it last year with the playoffs, but how does it feel when you're in an environment like this?
Yeah, it's one-on-one for sure. It's very special, something that nobody on our team takes for granted, and it's very cool that it's in Oklahoma. It's like we're like the only pro team here for real, so it's just cool to have, like, it literally feels like kind of like high school when your high school team's really good at, like, football. Like, that's what it feels like here, just like a real sense of, like, everybody wants you to do well, and you can feel that in the arena.
Shai, you guys have had throughout the year times in games where you've sort of avalanched the other team. It's not always with the same group of guys on the floor. But what do you feel like as you think about what happened today and what's happened over the course of the season? Are there some fingerprints of those avalanches that you sort of point to and say, if we do this, that can happen in games?
Yeah, it all starts with getting stops. We get stops and we're able to play fast, play to our strengths, play in open space. That's the key to it all. I mean, if you look at any of those runs, we stack multiple possessions of great defensive possessions. Then it allows us to be who we are offensively. It's no secret. That's what it takes to have those stints in the game, and we know that. And that's our intention when we go out there. Not just to have like one good possession, two bad, one good. It's like stack them up.
There's a couple of times, Shai, in the first half where you're diving on the floor. Obviously, you're one of six, I think, at the time that the first time I recognized it, and then dove again. I mean, is it important for you to like set the tone on there, get on the floor, just kind of tell your other teammates like it's time to go?
Yeah, sure. I just try to make winning basketball plays at the end of the night. Like every play presents itself an opportunity for you to make a play, and I try to do so.
Yeah, Shai, how comforting is it for you, who carry such a big load, to know you can have one of your worst games in months, and still you guys win by 51 points?
Yeah, I have a great group of guys around me, and I know that, and I've known that for a long time. So tonight is no surprise. They obviously played amazing. If it was a bunch of me's out there tonight, it might have not looked like this, but that's what you have a team for.
Shai, related to that, you played second fewest minutes you have all season because the game was obviously in hand, but is that sort of weird to open the playoffs like that and just kind of have a perspective from the bench late in game that you don't, expect to have in this sort of situation?
Yeah, not at all. I love it. The goal tonight when we woke up was to win the game, and nothing else mattered, and we did that. So whatever it looks like, I'll take it. As long as we win, I'm happy.
Jalen, you guys came out second half, you were up big, and you hit them with a 10-0 run, and the game got up to 50 some points or whatever, but the game never really devolved into guys just trying to get up numbers. It's pretty clean. I mean, talk about that and how you guys maintain that even though you had the game's pretty much over.
A lot of that is understanding your opponent. Like, they just played like 36 hours ago. So they're kind of coming in here. You know, we're still like, we kind of like have to take a little bit of this win with like, they're going to be way better game 2. So we're trying to like not give them a lot of life in regards to that. And that's a really good team over there. So like game 2 is going to be completely different. So we're like kind of competing with ourselves in a way to like make sure we're sharp for game 2 because we know what we're going to get with them. So that was kind of like the biggest goal in mind. And to open up that 10-0 run was, I think Lou got a steal, like an offensive rebound that kind of sparked that. So just having plays like that, regardless of when we're up or down, is like a good tone setter going into the next game.
Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. Last year, the circumstances weren't totally different for Game 1. We had a team who played Friday. You guys played Sunday. What feels different to you guys this season just versus last season?
That's for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just another go around at it. You know, I think last year was just so different in regards, like a lot of our team, it was the first time that we had been through the exact same thing. So just this time, obviously we've been in the situation before, so it's not as foreign. So I think that's the biggest one. But at the end of the day, it's basketball. Like, it doesn't matter how well you shoot, what happens throughout the whole game. It's just like win by 50, win by 1. Like, the goal is to win, and that's kind of what we came in here with the mindset of.
Shai, I'm not sure you remember this play, but I believe it was early third quarter. You were flying down in transition, lose on the left wing. You sort of pass up the lane and hit Lou for an open 3 after he missed like 2 threes before that. And the broadcast pans to Sam, and he's kind of doing like this. He's like, smart player. Sam Presti.
Oh,
and I imagine he's talking
Uncle
about
Sam.
you. I just wonder if you can speak to maybe your growth in terms of basketball IQ. I know that's kind of arbitrary, the definition of that, but growth in terms of basketball IQ and how he's maybe expressed that to you since you've been here.
Yeah, part of becoming a better player is seeing the game and having a feel for everybody on the court, and not just yourself, your teammates and the other team as well. And it's something that it's hard to like learn other than just going through games and being in many different situations. And I think like Sam specifically and the organization has like given me a runway to figure it out and kind of just feel it out throughout my career. And I think that's why I'm the player I am today. It's because I had a clean runway. I didn't have to worry about making mistakes. Like, I could just trust my work and learn from my experiences. So yeah, he has a big part in that, for sure.
Anybody else?
Yeah, one here.
We'll go 2 more. 1, 2.
Wiggs didn't play in the first quarter at all. You guys went 10 deep. He did not play. He went on to lead the team in scoring. Can you just talk about his never-ending ability to turn it on at any moment?
Good player.
Yeah, I don't think he's turning it on.
Yeah, he's just a really good basketball player. Like, no matter what's going on, no matter what the situation is, like you said, he hadn't played the whole quarter. It's probably 30 minutes in real time. He comes in and makes 3 threes in a row. Like, he's just really good at basketball. It's nothing special. He understands the ups and downs of the game, the business side of it, like the politics of it. He understands everything. He's very mature and a very good basketball player, and that's why he has the results he does.
Question for either of you guys. AC tonight only plays 12 minutes, but he's a plus 30. He doesn't attempt a single shot. What is it about him that sort of allows him to affect the game in all sorts of ways despite not really having those box score numbers?
Yeah, personally, from what I've seen from him, that's who he's been his whole career. And he's been a superstar in that role, and that's why he has had the success in the NBA he's had. He's never been a guy to average 25 and take a whole bunch of shots, but he's stuck around and is a really important player on a lot of good teams because he's a superstar in that role. And he gives his 10 out of 10 effort for us, and that's why we're the team we are.
Barry's got the last one. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Shai, you hit that 3 with 2.6 seconds left, and you sort of celebrated in your understated way.
Yeah.
How was that? How was it feeling up to then? You're winning big, but you knew you were struggling.
Yeah.
You get one to go. What were your emotions and what went through your head?
It felt amazing. Every shot I shot, like, it felt good. And that's all you can really ask for. Like, they're going to feel good and miss, and they're going to feel bad and make sometimes. As long as they feel good, you're on the right track. And that one went down.
Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Christina with Channel 8, what do you think is the key to continuing this dominant momentum right now?
We just got to continue to stick to who we are. We got a great coaching staff who tells us everything we need to know ahead of the game. And when we listen to them and we really key in on what they're giving us, and then we go out and do our best to execute it, all be on the same page. Understand that it's a 48-minute game every single night. We can trust that leaves us in a good spot.
Chet, how'd you feel about the looks that you were able to generate off the catch and the ones that you were set up for tonight?
I feel like the ball had energy tonight, not only for myself, but for everybody. The ball was moving around. Everybody was making the right reads, and that makes it really tough on a defense when, you try to take something away by giving something else up, and then, a team trusts each other enough to make that play and then execute it, and, it worked out for us tonight.
Yeah, Chet, how much were you pleased with how you guys came in on defensive end, with considering how much time you guys had off before this game?
Yeah, we did a great job this week of, really getting after in practice. Obviously, you can't be getting too physical. You don't want anybody getting hurt in a week of practice right before the playoffs. All types of stuff happened this year, and we're fortunate enough to come into the playoffs with pretty much everybody being healthy. Knock on wood that we're able to keep that going. But we did what we could this week in practice. We went hard. We got up and down, kept the wind going, focused on where we could get better, and we just got to keep doing that.
Chet, you had 2 of the 8 blocks that you guys had tonight, and there were a couple that weren't cheap at all. They're right at the rim going at it. Was that just something in the game plan as far as playing these guys and being aggressive defensively at the rim?
That's just what I'm going to do every single night. As long as I can remember playing basketball, ever since I could play above the rim, that's been something that I've hung my hat on. At the end of the day, easy ones breathe confidence, and at the end of the day, as a defense, you just have to make everything tough. Teams are going to score. There's no such thing as a shutout in the NBA. But when you make everything tough and try to limit confidence as much as possible, that's what you have to lean to.
And just like with the Athletic, the lineups with you and iHeart are still a pretty small sample, but it seemed to work really well today, plus 16 with the starters. What were you seeing out there?
Again, just everybody being bought in, understanding that there's going to be mistakes no matter what you do and what lineup you throw out there. There's going to be mistakes, but just having the right mentality around it, understanding that all the mistakes, they happen with the right purpose, and everybody's trying to get things right. And over time, you just have to trust that that's going to continue to get you better and better. And that's what we've done all year. And, we're not going to stop that now.
You mentioned the energy in the ball. You talking about just guys, shots coming out. You had several occasions where you guys really had to find the open shooter. Sometimes it was Wiggs, sometimes it was you. It seemed like that was, in the second half in particular when the game was a blowout, it seemed like you did that really well as a team.
Yeah, 100%. And, at the end of the day, the credit has to start at the top with that one. Shai did a great job of trusting everybody, giving up the ball, when that's what the defense was giving him. And, not forcing the issue like he could, at the end of the day. I've said it before. There's no defense you throw at him that limits him from being able to get a shot off. So he can get a shot off anytime he wants, but he trusted us to make the right plays tonight. And then, even when he wasn't on the floor, those lineups that were out there, made big plays. So,
Chet over here. This is obviously a very business-like win for you guys tonight, 51 points. You obviously had a lot of fun, but did you have a favorite moment or sequence from this one?
There were some good plays, and I'd say my favorite one was, Queso's dunk in transition. Yeah. He had, an extremely impactful night tonight. You might not see it looking in the scores column, but, he he was extremely disruptive, made everything tough on Memphis, and it didn't matter whether he was getting to shoot the ball every time down or not. He was locked in and making plays, and those are the type of dudes that you want to play with. You want out there, they got your back, so you got to have their back. And he had a big time game tonight.
Chet, you had a big play in the first half. Can you sort of take us through it, where Ja gets the offensive rebound, it's instant behind the back pass, and you're right there at the rim on that block on Edey? Like, I think most guys couldn't react fast enough just watching it, but you're in the play and you're right there.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is just not having any hesitation. He was butt naked under the rim when he got the ball, and if you hesitate for a second, he's probably going to be able to dunk this. That's when he's able to dunk this. So it's just not having any hesitation, whether he makes a good play or I do my job better on that play. You just got to trust that you got to do what you got to do, and on that play, I was able to make a play. Speaking of that, Mark's praised you in the past for just being fearless underneath the rim. Has that always been a thing for you, or is that something you had to overcome at one point of just not being afraid of being dunked on or anything like that? As I was growing up and everybody got more athletic, and I was playing up at times, I've had my fair share, even in the NBA, I've had my fair share of times where the other player made a better play than I did at the rim. But I also understand, that's my job to go out there, help protect the rim. That's what the team needs me to do at times. And, when you're bought into trying to win and whatever it takes, you're not worried about, mistakes or, somebody getting the better of you on a single play. It's just whatever you can do to try and help us win. And, obviously that's one of the plays that I got hurt on, and actually both times. But, at the end of the day, if I'm out there hesitating for any reason, then I shouldn't be out there. So it's time. It's when there's time to make a play, you just got to no hesitation try to make a play.
Daigneault. Pass the mic back. Thank you.
Yeah, Chet, oftentimes we see when teams go up big in any game, we kind of let off a little bit, and team might come back and win, might come back and it'll be a closer game. But there was no point in this game where you guys let up and let them come back remotely close. What do you feel like went into not letting up and just increasing the lead throughout the game?
Just sticking to who we are. Again, you can't play the scoreboard, especially in the playoffs. The playoffs are a time of huge ups and downs for both teams. And at the end of the day, if you get caught up playing the score, things can work against your favor. And, we have to do a really good job of whether we're up or down, playing within the moment and doing what we need to execute in the moment. Because, that moment is going to help us get better for the next one. And if we're playing circumstances that, we shouldn't be, that's only going to hurt us.
Mark, obviously this is a defense that's hit on a lot of cylinders all year. What part of your defensive effort today did you feel like kind of pushed Memphis over the edge?
I thought we did a good job tonally to start the game. We were ready to play. I thought we were tight in our stuff. And like I said, set a good tone. But they played 36 hours ago and had an emotional game, had to turn around and play at noon today, which is a really tough turnaround. So they're going to be better, Tuesday. So I thought we did a good job, but, I don't think we can expect that. From them, they're going to play a lot better than that. They're going to be fresher. They have big-time competitors. So we need to be ready to play on Tuesday.
A lot of that lead was built, when Shai was on the bench in the second. It probably speaks more to your depth. Just what you see when he was gone for the team to build that lead.
Yeah, the units played well all year. They played well tonight. I thought Dub really set the tone with his facilitation. He did a really good job of getting the ball ahead of them. And then we made really good plays off of it. We made shots, and we also made extra passes and got ourselves some closeouts on offense. And so I thought he really set a tone just for the way he moved the ball. And so that group was positive, but all the way through, I was impressed with how the guys came out and played.
Yeah, Mark, you guys set quite a few franchise playoff records tonight. One of them that sticks out is most forced turnovers in a game. So what do you like about you guys' point of attack defense? And didn't really seem like the Grizzlies got many good looks all night.
Yeah, I mean, we were amped up. I give the guys a lot of credit for the week of practice that we had. That's a sneaky tough week because it's a lot of days without a game. It gets you out of the rhythm of games, and you have to get back into a kind of a practice mindset. And I thought they did a great job all week of just taking it a day at a time and knocking out what we needed to knock out. Our staff and two-way guys did a great job all week of helping us get ready. So I thought we were really sharp, start the game. I give a lot of credit to the preparation. But again, we've got to now, win the gaps between the games and prepare for the next one.
And on the other side of the floor, 36 assists for you guys. What do you like about the ball movement, and not only the ball movement, but the player movement that you guys had tonight? Yeah, it took us a minute to get to there. I thought we were just like a little, late in the first quarter. And as it wore on in the first half, I thought we got a rhythm in terms of the way we moved it. And I thought we were sharp in our actions, which gets the initial advantage. So you combine those two things, and you're more difficult to guard.
Mark, what did you see from Chet tonight, especially the looks he was getting offensively?
Yeah, I thought he was really good. He's still working back, from a long layoff and injury. He's obviously a lot better now than he was right after it. He's put a lot of work in and done a great job. So he set a really good tone for us tonight on both ends of the floor. Rim deterrence, he was good on the glass, scrappy on the glass, and then had a good blend on offense.
Mark, you've had times throughout the year where you've had this avalanche of run throughout a game. It's not the same group of guys all the time that does it. Is the easy answer it's defense that keys that, or what do you feel like really builds when you guys have those moments in games?
I think it's the easy answer. I think it's defense. It's hard to have a run when you're not stacking stops up, and we have to lean into that. As a team, as we go into all these games, we've got to understand that's one of the hardest things about playing against us is when we're really physical and executing our stuff and engaged on that end of the floor. So, I thought we were in a good place tonight, combined with probably some of their fatigue, and we've got to turn around and be really sharp with that on Tuesday because they're going to be a lot sharper, like I said.
Is one of the hardest things against you guys the fact that run, the avalanche can come with a group that's largely second wave guys? And I mean, I guess it would just be hard for opponents. Do you feel like the ability to have that kind of run out with, Shai on the bench, Jalen on the bench, whatever the case might be, just really makes you guys difficult?
Yeah, we just want to be a 48-minute team. We want to have balance in all the units. We're fully healthy right now, so it gives us a lot of options. And I thought everybody that went in the game tonight, including the guys down the stretch, did a great job of being ready to play and playing, compete together basketball, which is what we want to be about.
Mark, it's Easter Sunday. I mean, obviously a noon tip-off. Can you talk about the crowd? And you seem to give them some. They gave it back. It just completely engaged the entire game.
Yeah, happy Easter to all our fans. And, the crowd was, as usual, great. It's expected at this point because of the tone that they've set over all these years. But, we get great energy from them, the support they give us. And they're great when, the wind's in our face as well. During courses of the game, they help get behind us. And they've done that for years, obviously, here. So we're grateful to them. Need them again on Tuesday.
Yeah, Mark, Shai had his usual bad game every 3 months today. And you win by historic margins. Not just win, but easy. Is that comforting as a coach to know even if your superstar is off, you don't have to scratch and claw to win?
That's what a team is. You don't want to be dependent on one player for anything. You don't want to. Lou Dort's a great defender, but our defense shouldn't be predicated on how Lou defends. I think that's what teams do is they pick each other up and. They compensate for one another. The whole's better than the sum of the parts, and that allows everybody to just stay plugged in. I thought, Shai didn't have it going early with his shooting, but stayed inside of what we were trying to do, played a really good floor game, especially in the third. I thought he came out of halftime with great intentionality. He just made all the right plays, got his teammates shots. They started doubling him. I thought he handled those really well. So.
Look like your bigs, both Chet and Nyhart. They complemented each other really well tonight, offense and defense, whether it's rim protection, scoring, feeding the open guy tonight.
Yeah, we've put a lot of time into that, since Chet's been back, just because he missed so much time, and that was just a version of our team that we didn't really know. and they didn't really know. So we've done that a lot, for this purpose, because there's going to be times in games and times in this series where we're going to need those guys out there together, and they've developed a great rhythm and collaboration on both ends of the floor. I thought they played really well in their minutes together today.
And for a game that was pretty much over at halftime, you guys, it stayed pretty clean. You had like a 10-0 run to start the third quarter, and they never really let it devolve into just kind of ugly basketball.
Yeah, we want to play the possessions and not the score. That's important. It's a series. We play Memphis again Tuesday. So regardless what the score is, whether you're up or down, you're always building habits. You're always setting a tone in a series. And I thought all the guys did a great job of just running through the finish line of the game and taking advantage of every possession, not playing the score.
Michael Martin, let's talk Thunder. Mark, you mentioned a lot of the context around the Grizzlies and sort of the play and the emotions of them getting this quick turnaround. With a game like this and sort of the margin, how much can you extrapolate from a game like this, or is it more so just burn the tape in a lot of ways because of just how different it is from a regular game?
Never burn the tape. You get a sense of how they're trying to attack, and you get a sense of how they try to counter certain things that we do. So we can definitely learn from it. So can they. Both teams will learn from it and, have a plan for Tuesday. I just was saying that because it's a series, and this is a team that's got really good players. They've played really well this season, and they've got great competitors. And so coming off a game like this, it's pretty predictable that they're going to be better and they're going to be motivated on Tuesday, and we need to have our mind wrapped around that.
Yeah, Coach, you played, I think, 10 players there in that first quarter, and I think Wiggs started the second quarter. He went on to lead the team in scoring. Can you just talk about his, never-ending ability to turn it on a dime?
Yeah, he's got great readiness and professionalism. You could put him in any situation, and he can figure his way, out of it. And he's really good. He's been really good in those units all season. We wanted to get the rotation the way it was tonight, but we'll move things around as necessary, or if the game calls for it. But like I said, he's got great readiness, professionalism. He's been building this muscle for a long time.
Wanted to ask about Alex Caruso and Casey Wallace off the bench. Neither one played big minutes. There's only one shot between the two of them, but there was still a pretty loud presence from them on the court. Just tell me about what you saw from them today.
Yeah, big time, winning basketball by those two guys, from the defensive pressure, execution of the game plan, energy plays. And like I said, I thought the ball movement early in the game was just a little sticky, and we were just kind of finding our way in the game. We haven't played in a while together, and that group kind of got us into a groove. It started with Dub with the attacks and the early passes, and then those guys played on the closeouts really well and made sound decisions and kept the ball ahead of the defense. So they were great, obviously.
Mark, Darnell Mayberry, The Athletic. Can you go back to that challenge at the half, right before the half? It was a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it was a hell of a sequence. What did you see that made you challenge, and what did you think that meant for your team in that moment?
I mean, I'm just trying to help the team in any way I can. I didn't think Bagley was legal on that play. Obviously, he wasn't, because they confirmed that with the challenge. But even there, they're about to give the guy 3 shots in a wide margin game. So that challenge doesn't have to have a high probability to make it worth it in my mind. But Alex was pretty convicted that he was illegal on the court. Thought the replay showed enough that he was illegal. That's why we went and got it.
Yeah, Coach. A.J. Mitchell's first playoff minutes off an injury. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, he was great. He's still getting in shape. Like I said, the Chet conversation too. These guys are out for a long time. It takes time to get conditioning back. It takes time to get rhythm back. But in his time with us during the season, he proved to be, a highly functional player that brings certain utility to our group with the things that he does. And it was good to be able to get him out there for those minutes tonight and get him a burn and get him breathing, get him playing, build some confidence, because we're going to need all these guys to be ready to contribute their strengths at different times, including him. So I thought he did a great job.
In 21, this team beat you by 73 points. Does any part of you think about that game today?
No, I'm thinking about game 2.
We go Riley with the last one.
I was just going to go back to the Wiggins question about his readiness and what to you defines readiness. Whenever you look at a player and can trust that they're going to be ready to go regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, just you see him in enough situations over the course of 82 games, and in Aaron's case, over the course of years. And when they can prove to be consistent in changing circumstances and in different contexts, then it's easy to trust them in any circumstance and in any context. And we've got a lot of guys like that. We try to help them build that muscle. That's part of being a pro. But nobody carries that flag better than him. I mean, he's done it for a long time and done it well. And now it's good to see, like, on a stage like this, for him to be able to just get his number called and be ready to play. I mean, his first time he touched the ball, he made a three. He's just got a great mindset for that stuff.